Hi friends, welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about the Butterick B6930 and the Butterick B6931. So both of these patterns are the same pattern. It's just one is a plus size and one is the regular size. And I'm going to be giving mostly my review of the size 12 to 20 because that's the envelope that I selected. So for this pattern, you do get 4 groups of sizes. So the first is the 4 to 12. The second is the 12 to 20. Then you have the 20W to 28W and the 30W to 38W, I believe. I'll make sure that I put all the sizes here just in case, I forgot a size, or if I forgot the sizing, you'll know exactly what those sizes are. So the Butterick B6930 is a wrap top pattern. You get 2 variations of this wrap top, and you have raglan sleeves and you have gathering in the waistline because you're going to be putting elastic channels in the waistline. And you also have 2 different variations of a peplum style top. So you have a short peplum that is at your high hip, and then you have a longer peplum that is kind of like a skirt peplum top that hits at your lower thigh there. So I have to let you know from the outset that I made major hacks to this. However, I did, for one of my mock-up versions, I did size the wrap top so I could give kind of an estimate as to whether or not this is going to be true to size. But I did a full hack to this for the pattern hackathon that is hosted by the lovely Chris. She goes by the Unsocial over on Instagram. And for the entire week of this week, and you're seeing this video July, I believe, 18th, 19th. And for this entire week, she has different groups of hackers that are presenting their different hacks with certain patterns that they chose for this project. So my partner, her name is Carol. She's not here on she's not here on YouTube, so she doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she has an Instagram, and her handle, I'll put that here so you can see what her handle is and you can go over and check her out. And I'll try to make sure that I remember to put her handle in the description box below as well. So we did 2 different hacks, and the reason why I'm mentioning the plus size, the B6931, is because she did the plus size version of it. So that's the pattern that she did. If you want to know more info and details on how she hacked the pattern, go ahead and check out her Instagram account and you can see her lovely variation and the beautiful fabric. She used the Ankara fabric for this project. So I was trying to make an Zimmerman inspired dress that has this beautiful ruffle, and it has a tiered gathered skirt on it with really nice wide sleeves. And I thought that this pattern would be really lovely as a base or a start for it. The fabric, of course, it doesn't closely resemble that Zimmerman dress that I was trying to create. So I was a little bit sad and disappointed by that. I wanted the spotted fabric, the cotton lawn that Joanne carried, that is kind of similar to that fabric, but my location was no longer carrying that at the time. And so I went with this secondary choice, which is this pink. It almost looked like a brush stroke type fabric. It has different variations of pink in it. It has like a magenta color and some lighter tones of pink in it as well. It's a cotton lawn. It sewed up pretty good. It was really great, lightweight lawn that resembles a voile fabric, which I really love. It's not see-through or anything like that or transparent, so I didn't have to line it, and it feels amazing. And because of the color and because it's not transparent or translucent, you can't see through it at all. So I really like that. It's really light and it feels nice. So back to the pattern, I chose a size, let's see here. I chose the size, I believe I chose the size 18. I made changes to the center front. As I stated before, I just took my, that wrap portion. It has an extended piece out, like almost like a tail, so that you can overlap the 2 front bodice pieces over one another, and then you get your wrap. So instead of doing that, I just cut the pattern on the center front seam, and I just put that on fold, and I cut my pattern pieces out on fold along that center front seam so that I can just get a front section without a wrap or without anything like that. For this particular piece, I believe so I have two different variations that I created. I created one where I can put my piece on fold, and I created another one where I can create a center front seam. I believe for this variation, I created a center front seam. So I gave myself, I believe, a 1/2 inch seam allowance so I could create that center front seam. And then I also made a ruffle pattern, a neck ruffle pattern. And that neck ruffle pattern, I sized that about double the length of my neckline so that I can gather the ruffles in, and I can have some nice gathered ruffles around the neckline. Again, that Zimmerman take, the neckline ruffle is a little bit different. It's more of a high puff ruffle around the neckline instead of a flat version of it. I just created a flat version of it, so it's not exactly like that Zimmerman style that I wanted, but that was something that I felt more comfortable having, like that flat ruffle instead of this real big puffy ruffle around my neckline that I knew would irritate me. So I created that instead. I also made neck facings, and to create my neck facings, I just followed the lines of the neckline. You all know I love creating my facings with garments that don't come with facings. So I did that for that. And then in terms of the yoke and the tier portion of the dress that I created with this top, the yoke piece, I just used the same peplum. So here you get like this peplum here that comes in the envelope. I just used this, but I sized it down because I didn't want to have a lot of gathers around the front of my waistline because it just doesn't look flattering on me. And so I did leave some room to put an elastic channel in the back of the garment. But for the front of the garment, I just left, I just sized it down and kind of just left a not a center front, but a waistline seam in the front between the bodice and the yoke. So again, I kept the peplum, but I sized it down so that I can actually decrease the elastic and the volume in the waist for the waist channels. So again, my garment only has elastic in the back and not in the front. And then for the lower tier portion of the skirt, I just basically created a square pattern piece and kind of doubled it in size so that I can get ruffles around the front and the back of the yoke. So I created the tier version based on the yoke or the peplum. Now that act as my yoke. I created my lower tier portion based on that yoke, and I doubled it in size, just a square pattern, doubled it in size, and that's how I got my gathers for the front and the back. So I did have to cut out 2 pieces for the front and then also the back. It turned out really nice and clean. I really love this garment. It fits so nicely. Like I said, it's light in weight, and it offers a lot of breeze because it's so light and weight. For my sleeves, I decided to shorten my sleeve pattern because it's summer and it's hot and I just didn't want any long sleeves. And so I shortened my sleeve pattern and made a short sleeve. It's not like a really small cap short sleeve, but it is a shorter sleeve than you see here on the front of the cover here. So I had real fun. I had a lot of fun making this, and I definitely would recommend the pattern because it did sew up well for the top. And like I said, I did make a mock-up version of the top. And so the mock-up version turned out really lovely. The only advice I cannot give in terms of this wrap top is around the neckline, if it gapes or anything like that, because when I did my mock-up, I did not put bias binding around the neckline, and I did not sew that neckline portion up. And usually once you add your bias binding and you wrap and do all that, then you can find out whether or not it gapes a lot. And I did not sew up the seam allowance for the neckline, so just be cautious of that. I always recommend people do mock-ups, muslins, toils, whatever you have to do before you do your finished final garment on your beautiful fabric. I always recommend that you do that no matter what stage in the sewing process that you're in. You can never go wrong with a mock-up. So I really like the way that it fits on my body in terms of the sleeve pattern, because I didn't make like any drastic hacking changes to the sleeve pattern. I can say that it's a wonderful sleeve pattern. It offers a lot of width for those individuals who are like me, who have bigger biceps. You don't really need to do a bicep adjustment. My bicep measures about 15 inches in circumference, and usually I have to do about a 2 to a 2.5 inch bicep adjustment on slimmer patterns, especially if I'm choosing a size 18 or 20. So if you fall in that range and you have a 15 inch or below in bicep width and circumference, then you would not need to do a bicep adjustment or anything like that, which is really common for a lot of your raglan type tops, and why I really love them, because they offer more width in the pattern. So anyway, really love this. I can't wait to do the actual peplum style version of this. I think it's really cool, and I think it would be so cute in a polka dot fabric or some type of zebra print or dotted fabric of some kind. I think it would be really cute. I haven't made one yet, but I hope to make one soon, and I would, based on the way that I was able to hack the pattern and everything, I still would recommend the pattern because it's a pretty decent pattern. So anyway, that is my hack style. And I'll go ahead and make sure that I leave pictures, photos, and, videos or whatever, so you can see what my garment turned out to look like. I really enjoyed this, and I was happy to participate in the pattern hackathon, and want to give a shout out to Chris of Unsocial and thank her for hosting such a beautiful challenge, and thank Carol for partnering with me on this project. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure that you subscribe, especially if you like today's video or any of the videos on my channel. All right, everyone, I can't wait to talk to you all later, and I hope you all have a happy and blessed sewing week. Bye.